There we go. Okay, back to what pain points are. There's struggles that are specific to you in your life, both past and present. Okay. And the thing with pain points is, you guys, you want to get like, you want to think specific details and moments. Okay. So things that you've been through, things that you are currently going through, things that you have overcome, things that have just different hurdles and obstacles and things and feelings in your life. Again, both past and present. Okay. So, for the next like 5 minutes, and I'm going to tell you guys why they're important in just a minute, but for the next 5 minutes, I'm going to put a timer on and I want us to jot down what our pain points are. Okay. So you're going to have a list for both you're going to have two lists. Okay. Customer and promoter. So when you're doing like the customer side, I want you to think about how you were feeling before the products. Okay. And this is different than your fives. Okay. So think of like your fives as like an onion, I guess. I'm so bad with analogies. And then your pain points are all the different layers to that onion. Okay. You're peeling back those layers. So for me, just right off the top of my head, when it comes to like customer pain points, I was unmotivated. I call myself a maybe later mom. I drank a lot of coffee. I wasn't a morning person. All these things, right? Like I snacked uncontrollably all the time. My house chores weren't getting done, right? Because I lacked energy and all of these things. For the business side, I can talk about how I was on WIC. I can talk about like low military pay. Okay. Anyone who's in the military, you know, they don't get paid diddly squat. And so that's something that's super relatable. And that's a struggle that we had for a long time. I can talk about how I couldn't go to the grocery store any day of the week, how our family was, lending us money all of the time to put food on the table for our daughter. I can remember going to Coinstar to get gas money for my husband to get through the rest of the work week, right? So specific times in your life and moments and details of things that the idea around this, you guys, is things that the products can solve, okay? And problems that the business can solve. But you want to make it specific to you, because at the end of the day, like our ideal business partner, right, or our ideal customers, they're going to be people that we can relate to. And by putting out and talking about these pain points and sharing our stories, that is how we are going to find our people and people who can relate to us. Does that all make sense, you guys? That was like I said, a very short version of what pain points are. But so the next 5 minutes, let's do that. And then we will get into the batching and planning portion of it. Sorry guys, I was hiding the chat with the waiting room and all of that. So I'm just now reading this. T for Two has a really great podcast on pain points. I actually shared it in like all of the chats just a couple days ago. So if you want like a more in-depth kind of like training on that, definitely check out T for Two. I love those two. So Holly, we're not doing topics right now. We're just writing out what our pain points are. We're getting those lists. And so for me, this is something that I keep on paper. Whatever you do, wherever you write it down, make sure that you keep it close to you at all times. So like for me, when I am posting, I sit down to post, I will literally pull out my pain points list and look through and be like, okay, what do I want to talk about right here? And I'll just kind of pull something from this. So it's basically kind of like how we've been pulling from our fives list when we post. Think of that, but we're going to start pulling more from our pain points and sharing our stories, because the reason that they're important is they allow for the person on the other side of that screen reading what you're putting out, looking at your content. It allows for them to fit themselves into your story and feel like they can relate to you and be like, I know exactly how that feels, like I'm going through that right now. And it'll have them paying attention to what you're doing, what you're putting out. It's going to skyrocket your conversations, your connections, which in turn is going to lead to enrollment in the end. So if you guys want to share your pain points in the chat, go ahead and put some of those in there so other people can see. Do you think like self-development? I would say, I would put that under business. Jordan, thank you for sharing that podcast in here. So again, you guys, when you're coming up with your pain points for like the business side, it does not have, it's both present and past tense. So if you're new to this and you haven't really started making money or enrolling customers or things like that, that's okay. Look at your life right now and what are things that you're struggling with. Okay, those are your pain points. They do not have to be things that you've already overcome. It can be things that you are going through right now. All right, so there's the timer on that. You guys should now have a decent list of different problems that you can solve on both the customer and the business side. So we're gonna actually, like I said, we're doing this backwards. So we're going to pass it over to Christina and she's gonna kind of explain how we're going to take these and plan our week, and then we will go back into batching them at the end. So Christina, if you wanna go ahead and unmute, can you unmute yourself? Do I have to?
Yeah. Am I good?
You're good.
You guys bear with us, right? We're muting each other, unmuting, hosting, unhosting. It's a good time. So I'm really excited to do this, you guys. And like Rochelle said, this is a change up for everybody, right? So don't feel like if you're like, wait a minute, I'm not finding my rhythm. I don't have a groove yet. It is okay. You are going to find your rhythm. You are going to find your groove as you do this. So it's a little bit backwards. And the reason why we're doing planning first is because you are going to pick your pain points right now, things you want to talk about. You're going to put them in your planner. And then Rochelle is we're going to batch with Rochelle those ideas that we had. So there's not going to be where we're having like a story topic or anything like that. This is you against you versus you writing from your place, your story. This is going to help you get out of comparison trap because guess what? I don't have the same story as Rochelle. So I can't even try to compare my befores, my afters, where I'm going, what I'm doing to her, because we are on two different paths, right? We have two very different stories. So this is going to help you guys build the confidence in who you are, right? And Rochelle and I were talking about this last night. This is really going to help you as well when it comes to finding your people. Do you ever feel like, I just can't find my people? I just can't find my people. Well, because you're not telling your story. Your story needs to be, you walked through those things, like the no energy, the not being able to pay bills, having to go, put things on credit cards, even though you were like barely able to make the minimum, but that was the only way you could do things. You walked through those storms and those stories and had the rainbows and all the things so you could tell somebody else, right? You walk through it for a reason. So
and the thing is too, you guys, like the way that we were doing it prior with like the topic sentences, again, I want to see this in the chat. How many of you felt like you were kind of forcing that content and like it wasn't really like authentic to like you and who you are? Because I can tell you right now, and this is part of why we switched it up, was because I would be scrolling and I would come across like people on our team and I would see the content and I could just tell by reading it. I'm like, that is not her. Like that, I can tell by reading it, like that is so forced. That's not really like what she has to say. Like, so I think, like we said, like getting back to our pain points, and really this is just, what it comes down to is sharing your story, sharing versus selling. And I think that this, like I said, is going to be a big switch for a lot of you because people are going to get to hear your story and it's going to come across so much more authentic. And for you, it's going to be easier to put out compelling content because all you're doing is sharing your story. You don't have to think of something witty. You don't have to think of something that's going to like, I don't know, like catch, you know what I mean? Like it's literally just sharing your story. And so that was a big part of, like I said, why we were like, we need to change this up because we want to do what's going to work for everybody. And I don't think that it was working the way that we had intended it to. So sorry, I just wanted to throw that in there.
No, that's perfect. So you guys, here we are, we're learning and we're just flowing with the curve, right? And that is something we will always do for you guys is find what's not working and we will figure it out and we will make it work. So what we're going to do is I want you to look at your week, your calendar. If you want to grab a piece of paper, since this is going to be newer and you're like, well, if you're like me, it's like, well, if I put it in my planner and it's in pen, it's got to be like perfect. So if you want, grab a piece of paper. And what we're going to do is I want you to look at your week Monday through Sunday. And I want you to figure out, we're going to go ahead and look at it as what pain points you want to talk about each and every day. Now you could have so for example, Rochelle and I have talked about how one week we focus on customer, the next week we focus on promoter because we're telling a story throughout the entire week to capture everybody. So you could go ahead and you could say, you know what, my pain point this week is I want to talk about energy and I'm going to dig that's going to be like my 5s. And then I'm going to peel back the layers of the onions and share my pain points on energy all week. Maybe you want to change it up. Maybe every single day you want something different, whether it's, based on promoter or based on customer. Maybe you want to do 3 days customer, 4 days promoter. You figure out what's going to work for you. Right? This is something Rochelle and I've done the 3 days customer, 4 days promoter, 4 days customer, 3 days promoter. I've done the all in one week. I found what works for me. Now, just because I'm saying this week is customer, if I have something on my heart for promoter, does that mean I won't pop it up? No, I'll pop it up. right? But I focus on, I'm taking my audience through the story of Christina with these products this week. So I want you to figure out, and I'm going to drop it in the chat. If you want a daily pain point or weekly pain point, what your daily posts, what you kind of want them to be around, look at your calendar. Do you have to clean one of these days? That's a perfect day to talk about how you didn't have the energy to clean. And then you're going to take your stories, your audience through your stories of you cleaning your house, right? So you're going to let them know that maybe you have a bunch of like appointments this week and you're really going to touch on the mood support and the mental clarity because you don't like going to the doctors, right? Look at your week. Maybe your kids have back to school, you're back to school shopping. Start to look at what life is going to be going on so you can share your life, right? But also touch on these pain points. So I want you to think about story ideas that you want to talk about. And I want you to also focus on your weekly goals. So what is your goals for this week? How many trial packs would you like to get out? How many customers do you want to try to get there? How many reels do you want to get out? You don't have to have like a PPA as always your weekly goal. Like my weekly goal this week is to get 1,000 TikTok followers. That was my goal so that I could get my link in the bio. That was something that I was focusing on, and it wasn't PPA based, right? That was my main focus. And I was making sure my content and how I showed up and my energy and my I ams were around that I was finding my people on TikTok, right? So that sort of thing. I'm going to go ahead and mute myself for a few minutes. I'm going to drop it in the chat. So you got, where are we at? This is kind of what we're working on right now. So like I said, either pick a week or daily, and then just kind of start to like free write, brain dump what you want things to look like. Okay. Rochelle, if you ever want to pop in. And just brain dump what you kind of want things to look like, even your stories. Maybe you're doing something like that has nothing to do with Thrive this week, and you're going to take your audience for the ride. Like I kind of took them on my date night last night to the movies and out to dinner and so on and so forth, right? So that sort of thing. I'm going to go ahead and mute myself. We're going to do this for the next like 3 to 5 minutes. And you guys, this is something you're going to work on after too, because you got to still find your flow with this. So I'm going to go ahead and mute, ask any questions you have in the chat.
Okay, so I'm just looking at the chat here. Someone's asking if there's any apps that help with planning your content. There are, not gonna lie to you, don't know the name of them. I've heard them on different podcasts. So if anyone knows any of them or uses any of them, drop them in the chat for Holly. I know personally, like for a while there, I was using Microsoft To Do to plan my content. Also, Google Keep is something that I use to kind of organize my content ideas and my thoughts and all of that. But there are specific apps to content. I just don't know the name of them. So.
And you guys keep in mind too, Lindsay's going to be dropping the playbook, which is really going to have a lot of this stuff. Like you guys are getting like a sneak peek with Rochelle and I. Okay. We're giving you guys a little sneak peek of what's going down. So you are going to get a lot of tools in your playbook to be able to plan your weeks, which I'm really excited for you guys to get a hold of, because you guys know I'm like pen to paper, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm super pumped for everything this, and it keeps you guys, when I say that she has put so much thought into every single page that is in this playbook, we mean that from the bottom of our heart. It's still literally changing. Like she's always like, nope, I got this. So you're going to get a lot of tools in the playbook too, you guys, to be able to plan your weeks, have your daily things, all that kind of stuff too. So in case you don't find an app, keep in mind that the playbook is coming out with all of that kind of stuff too. Yes. So this is being recorded. You guys, I'm going to share just like a little, like kind of how mine is looking so that you guys can kind of get an idea in case you're like, wait a minute. So my pain point, or what I really want to focus on this week, I'm focusing on customer, and it's feeling good in my own skin. So feeling good on the inside that I glow on the outside. So Monday I have that, I used to have to snooze my alarm because the weekend took everything that I had from me, and I just couldn't go with life on a Monday, right? So I'm going to talk about that. Like, and this is like, I just jotted down like an idea. Tuesday, I'm going to post a before and after wearing and talk about how I am such a fashion lover, but I never used to wear the outfits because I didn't have the confidence. And these products helped me gain back that confidence, right? Not about the size. They helped me feel good to get the confidence. And then Wednesday, I have mentally feeling better because of my home being clean, where before I never had the energy. It was either like my choices were take a nap to feel like fuel the exhaustion, or and have like a crazy brain and mentally not feel good, or take the little energy that I had to make my home clean. Well, I chose the other one, right? I chose to lay down and all of that. So my house was always kind of like everywhere, even though mentally it makes me feel better, right? Those types of things. So do you see how it's just like peeling back the layers of who you are and what these products have done for you specifically? So I hope that kind of helps. I'm going to mute for one more minute, you guys, and then I'm going to drop the next thing and we're going to talk about that. And then we'll mute for another 5 minutes to finish planning, and then we'll go to batching. All right, how are we doing so far, you guys? We feeling good? We're getting out some of we're probably even learning things about ourselves that we didn't even know, or we're thinking back to times like, oh my gosh, I forgot I felt like that. Like, I forgot that happened. I forgot X, Y, and Z happened. Like, y'all, I want you to really just dig on those things. And I want to share just real quick before we hop into the next part. Like I went in my stories this last week and I shared about being able to go with my nieces for back to school shopping with my mom. And I was able to take them to Forever 21 and buy them accessories. That's like my department, you know. And I bought them accessories and it was $29, you guys. And I even said that on there, like it was $29, but $29 that I used to have to put on a credit card. $29 that I wouldn't have been able to do, like mentally stress-free, plus being able to just be present with them. Do you know how many people I had in my inbox because of that? Talking about just a $29 little shopping haul with my two nieces and being able to spoil them, right? You guys, it's the littlest things that I want you to start paying attention to, that you'll start to pick up on it. As we've been focusing more on pain points and Rochelle and I've been talking, I'm noticing more little things in my life. And guess what that's grown? That's grown my gratitude as well. So I am so much more grateful and I am just expressing that. And you show up in a different way when you do. You're going to show up more bold, more confident because of those little things. Yes, the B-Day cake story. Absolutely. See? So, all right, the next thing you guys we're going to focus on is the background work. So I'm going to put a list of things in here that we should be kind of looking at our business and trying to fit in a week, right? It is a long list. I want you to pick just a couple things per day. And what you can do is once I put it in the chat, you can save this to your notes, and every single week, just kind of pick a couple things on top of your IPAs. This is that background work that you hear Rochelle talking a lot about too. That background work that your business also needs. These are the things that, you know how Lindsay says, find somebody and mimic what they're doing. Don't become them, but mimic what they're doing. And you're like, okay, well, I'm posting on my stories, I'm posting, but like, I'm not enrolling like she is. I don't have the auto ships like she does. I don't have the customer retention like she does. This is the background work that you're not seeing. So you need to be able to just implement this on top of that, keeping up with the other stuff. So I'm going to drop it in the chat and I'm going to go ahead and read it for anybody who is on the replay. So it's follow up with your potentials, right? We always do that. Interact with your potential list, check in with your trial packs, check in with existing customers and your auto ships as well. Post trial packs that you have available for the week. Plan any weekly flash sales. So right now, you guys, once I mute, you're going to want to plan some flash sales and go ahead and maybe if the company has a sale, check in with your upline, mail customer thank yous, put in your work with me Zooms. You guys know where to find those. Those are in the team page at the top under announcements. Your Monday night Zoom at 8 p.m. for Limitless. Catch any missed training. So maybe jot that in there. Get some photo inspo. This is something that you can just scroll at night, get some photo inspo, scroll reel sounds and save those for your content, creating your reels and content, photos, taking your photos, putting filter on them so that you have stuff for the week and creating story content. So go ahead and take a look at that list, you guys, and start plugging that in your week where you want to kind of get things done. All right, I'm going to unmute myself real quick just to give you a little tips before we go into the batching. So maybe you are like, okay, I don't really know when I'm going to be able to get some of these things in, or I want to, whatever. I plan the night before as well. So you could always look at this list, then like, like each night and then say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to do boop, 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 because I have the extra time. Mark those off. Then, as the week goes on, what you have to get done, right? So you can always do it that way too. Or you can, if you're a planner, like, some of y'all are planners and like to just get everything written down because otherwise you won't do it. Then do that right now. So you're going to learn your style. Some things are planned for the entire week. Some things I flow every single day and I plan for the night before. But I've had to learn that with myself. I used to be somebody that tried to plan the entire week of everything. And then I noticed myself falling short. So then that's when I started taking my nights and being like, okay, how can I do this? And at night, then I plan a little bit more. So I have my ideas. And then every single night I'm going to sit down, I'm going to zero in on it and figure out exactly how things are going to look. And I get things a little bit more specific for the next day. So do you see how some people are going to plan the entire week down to it like a penny, and some people are going to have it planned and then really zero in every single night before or the morning of, that sort of thing, and get things. Learn you guys, you're going to have to learn your style. So if you have any questions about the planning, you guys, we kind of had to shorten up some of the things today just so that we could talk to you guys about the pain points and stuff. So as we flow, we'll get a little bit more time with the batching and the planning. And also so we're not keeping you guys here forever too. So like I said, this is new for all of us. So don't feel like if you're like, wait a minute, I feel all over the place. That's okay. When you get off of this, maybe watch the replay, maybe circle back, see what comes to you, see what flows with you, and you're going to find it. Let me tell you guys, you can't do this wrong. Okay. So any of y'all that are sitting there like, am I doing this wrong? You cannot do this wrong. So get it out there, start to do it, just take action, right? As long as you are taking action, you are doing things right. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Rochelle and we are going to batch.
All right, so the same way that we did this when we had topic sentences, I'm going to set a timer. I think I'm only going to do them for 3 minutes. So we'll do all 5. We'll do Monday through Friday at 3 minutes each. And so what we're going to do is I want you to pull up what you have, what is your Monday pain point? Drop it in the chat for me. What's your Monday pain point? For me, because my husband goes back to work tomorrow after a 30-day leave, and Aubrey's back in school now. So it's going to be the first day in a very long time where it's just my son and I. And so I'm personally going to talk about the fact that I didn't want to put my son in daycare. So that is going to be my pain point for tomorrow. That's going to be the story that I tell. I'm going to talk about how I had a corporate job. I worked from home after I had my son. He was supposed to be in daycare and I essentially hid him, not under my desk, not really, but you guys know what I mean. I definitely hid the fact that my son was home with me because I did not want to put him in daycare. And essentially that's why I started this business, was because I wanted to match my income from my full-time job so that I could keep him home with me and not have to put him in daycare. So that's my pain point for tomorrow. So I see unmotivated Mondays, used to hate Mondays. Yeah, like Monday blues, things like that. Okay, so pull from those moments and those stories. And in the next 3 minutes, let's kind of free write on something to go along with that pain point for tomorrow. And you guys, if you've been on these, this is how I do it. But for those of you who might be new, every month I have a folder in my notes. So we're in August. So within August, I have a folder for each week. All of my batched captions go into that folder so that throughout the week, it's super easy for me to just go in and then like copy and paste and throw it up. So that's how I do it. But I mean, I know people use like certain apps, Google Keep for theirs, whatever you do. Some people I see put it like pen to paper. So that's, whatever works for you. But I just wanted to share how I do it and how I keep my captions organized for, like I said, those of you who are new.
So Cassandra, there is no topic. So this is just going off of your pain point that you had written down that you wanted to focus on for Monday. So everybody's is going to be different.
All right, there's a timer on that. Sorry, my family got home and my computer was about to die, so I had to switch locations. I'm down in the dungeon again. Let's see. Okay, so there's Monday. So now let's move to Tuesday. So look at what you had put down for Tuesday. What story are you going to tell on Tuesday? What problem are you going to solve that day? For me personally, because it's payday, I'm going to talk about the financial stress, the financial stress that I don't know how I'm trying to word this. Basically, we used to be so broke that it put a lot of stress on my marriage, right? We fought a lot about finances. We actually had gone through a separation for quite a while because of finances. And so I'm just going to kind of talk about that because again, that's really relatable, you guys. There's a lot of couples out there who do they do argue a lot over money and bills and all of that. So that's the story that I'm going to tell on Tuesday. If you guys want to drop what you're talking about on Tuesday, go ahead. But yeah, like Christina said, I'm not giving you topics. You guys were pulling from your story, from your pain points. So I'm going to go ahead and set a timer for 3 minutes and we will do Tuesday. All right, we're about to move on to Wednesday. Something that I do as I go through these too is I will put different, like I'll write down what I have for photo ideas. I've said this a million times. I don't want my feed to just be like selfie, 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 selfie. So for example, on the Monday post where I'm talking about not wanting to put my son in daycare, I know for that one, I want to use a photo of him. And so I need to take a photo of him or go through and edit a photo of him and get that ready. So as you're going through, be thinking of like what you can be using for photos. Also keep in mind, any of these can go along with reels. So if you're somebody who, let's say you like to post 3 reels a week or 3 TikToks a week, be looking at these different things that you have for the week and figure out which ones you want to create some video content to go along with so that they all just kind of flow. Also, this something that I do is I have kind of shied away from the generic like opportunity stories. I personally like to really tell a story when I'm putting an op story up. And so I use these for my stories too. So that's something that you can do throughout the week. And when Christina shared the background work and it said like create story content, 2 birds, 1 stone, you guys, like you don't need to make more work for yourself. Literally, all you have to do is take one of these, break it up into like 3 to 4 different paragraphs that you can just copy and paste onto 3 to 4 different slides. Does that make sense? And then save it to your opportunity story folder and boom, you have a story ready to go for the week. Yes, look back at your posts too. Facebook, my favorite tool is Facebook Memories. I love pulling like content that I used from last year and stuff like that. And that's one of my favorite tools. So yes, look back at your posts too and recreate them into stories. Okay, so here we go, another timer. And if you guys have any questions, drop it in the chat. I will answer as they come in. Yeah, so Cassandra, we assigned different pain points to each day of the week at the beginning of this. And now we're literally just going through and I'm setting 3-minute timers for you to kind of free write on that and kind of like share your story for whatever that pain point is. The timer's about to go off. We're just gonna do Thursday and Friday, so 2 more. And then we're going to wrap this up. Also, side note, something that I was thinking of, Christina, for Monday when I'm talking about Baylor and like hiding him, like, crap, I have all my old bosses on on Facebook. They're gonna read that and be like, this girl. All right, let's move on to Thursday. Thursday's pain point, Thursday's topic. I don't like the word pain point, but I don't know what else to call it. All right, now on to Friday. This is our last one, and then we will go ahead and wrap this up. before you guys start hopping off too, I would love it. What do we think of this? First of all, thank you guys for giving us grace because I mean, this is obviously our first, like, this is way different than how we've been doing things. And this is the first one. So, like, a little bit, it might be a little bit rough, but like, thank you for giving us grace. It'll get better. But I want to know, like, do you guys think that this is going to be more beneficial moving forward than the way that we were doing it? How do you guys like it? We would love your feedback because I mean, as you guys know, like, these are for you guys. We want to do what's going to be easier for you in the long run. And so let's see. Pain points, ideas. So someone's asking, what are some pain point ideas of promoters? So these are just things that you struggle with financially or like problems that the business can solve for you. So again, present or has solved for you. So I don't have my pain point list in front of me. It's upstairs, but I have things like, do you want to say something, Christina? I see you raising your hand. Oh, you got to go.
When you're done.
You're waving. Oh, no. Okay. All right. I have things like WIC, living paycheck to paycheck, playing Russian roulette with my bills, fighting with my spouse over finances, going to Coinstar for gas money, all these different things, right? Like I could go on and on about all of the different struggles that we had financially. So do you want to go ahead, Christina?
Yeah. So you guys, what I was going to say is, do you remember back in school when you used to have to like write a word, put a bubble, and then you would put little things off of it, right? Like you would put little lines and then little bubbles, right? We all did that, I'm pretty sure. So take your fives, like today, tomorrow, the next couple days, take your fives of what you like love about the business and who you are and that kind of stuff, and start doing that. Start breaking things off to really start to dig deeper. So like if energy is something that you love about the products, well, what is it about energy? Where did it change your life, right? Or if the business side, you like weekly pay, well, what is that weekly pay doing for you? What is it doing for you that you couldn't do before? Start making those little things, and then you'll start to find more and more of your pain points. Because this is something that I'm learning, because I used to be very surface level. Rochelle knows. I told her, I'm like, this is a game changer for me. So I used to be very surface level. So when I started to actually start to be like, okay, weekly pay, it's going to help me pay for groceries, but what more about the groceries? What more, right? I started to think deeper and deeper. So just start to do that with yourself. Allow yourself to go back. I'm even going back, you guys, like 10 years, right? Before this business even came around, things that I was feeling, the weight that I felt like I was carrying that was never going to be able to be taken off, right? Before I even found the opportunity, things I was feeling, praying for and everything, to then fast forward, find the opportunity, right? So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah. And the idea is, you guys, it gives your audience, like I said, it allows for them to put themselves into your story, and it gives them something. It's like, it's more substance. It gives them something to grab. You know what I mean? It's more like if you just talk like, say like, oh, time freedom, right? And you share like a little blurb about time freedom. Instead of doing that, you talk about, like, you show a picture of your kids at the park at like 2:00 on a Monday, you know what I mean? And you're talking about how you used to be at work during this time, you used to be on your break. And, now like I'm here at the park with my kids, and you know what I mean? Do you guys see how that is something like people are going to be like, oh, like I want that. I want that for myself. That's digging deep and sharing your story. And that's really, I'm going to say this until I'm blue in the face, get back to sharing your story. And that's the whole idea around this. And that's what we're going for. So we are going to close this. Like I said, these are going to get better and better each week. So thank you for bearing with us. If you guys have any questions after this about pain points or anything like that, feel free to message me. I will get this up on YouTube and into the chats and the pages and all that. Share with your teams if people missed it. And yeah, I hope that you guys have a good, productive week, and we will see you next Sunday. Bye, guys.